Hello, fellow YouTubers. Hey, it's Dean. Well, I'm getting ready to basically start installing the floors. I'm all done glassing. I put in an additional rib right here and right here, blasted in all the way around both ends. Overlapped it underneath, everything, you know. Every joint in here now has new corners in them where I reinforced and put new cut laps in there. It wasn't too hard. It just really time consuming, and obviously this heat and rain and temperatures and all that, you know, factored in obviously. But carried the fiberglass up the bulkhead, resined all the wood, all that bulkheads and everything are tabbed in again, re-resined. There's one spot right here from here to here that I have not done. I'll do that the very last thing before I climb out of the boat for clearly obvious reasons. Yeah, you don't want to be walking on wet fiberglass. It has a tendency to stick to your shoes and they stick to the floor. I'll be honest, this has not been nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yes, it's time consuming, very time consuming actually. But as you can see, I've carried the resin all the way underneath. I flow coated out this. This is where the trim pumps actually go. That's all going to get covered up all the way back to right here. Is going to go straight across all the way to there. So that's going to go, that's where the wood's going to stop. I originally was going to make a cutout right here and put the trim pumps, but I want to try to keep everything as far away from any water as possible. So I'm just going to put the trim pumps underneath the seats for the back seat, and then 2 batteries over there on that side, 2 more batteries over here. I have 2 batteries for house batteries and 1 battery for each motor, so it makes total of 4 batteries. You know, yeah, I realize that's probably a lot overkill, but then again, most of you guys, you know me, so yeah, it is what it is. It's never easy, we know that. But this hasn't really been that hard, and I really, like I said at the beginning, the whole purpose of this was to just basically document from start to finish what was being done. You know, I did not have a lot of fancy tools. Matter of fact, I'll show you guys almost exactly, well, not almost exactly what I've been using. Okay, I cleaned up all the rough fiberglass and lumps and stuff that, you know, you get from any factory boat. You know, just a 4.5 inch DeWalt grinder. You know, it's got a, hold on a second here, stupid cord. It's a 4.5 inch grinder. It's a DW 402. So just so you know, this thing's pretty good, man. I've had this thing for like 10 years. I dropped it in the river one time when I was working on my boat on the lift, and I flushed it out with clean water. I hosed the heck out of it with WD-40, and I've never even opened that thing up. The bearings are still good. It still works. I can't believe how durable that thing is. I mean, believe me, I put that thing through a lot. I think I bought it at Lowe's for, gosh, I don't know, I want to say $43 or $45, something like that, and that was like 10 or 12 years ago, maybe longer. But it's been around for a while. It's got some mileage on it. You know, that's what I use right there to get all the nubs, and, you know, when they have those wads of, I call them kitty hair, you know, fur balls from the fiberglass strands. You know, you usually get them in the corners along the where they tap stuff in. Well, I went back and I cleaned out most all of them. Matter of fact, you can see a couple of them right over here where they tabbed all the stuff into here. These are foot pads right here for the gas tank, and then they sit on that so they're level. But yeah, it most assuredly had a few of them. So I sanded all those what I call boogers out, and hit it with a grinder actually, and smoothed them off, roughed them down. And the only sander that I have other than a DA, and when I say I don't have a lot of fancy equipment, I have a lot of tools, yes. That's my air compressor right there. That puny little dinky thing. I think it's a total of 5 gallons. You know, believe it or not, I dug this stupid thing out of the trash. Somebody threw this away because the pressure switch didn't work. So what I did was I figured out the wiring scheme on it. I made this little plate here where the diaphragm goes. It worked. I drilled and tapped it, and I bolted it down. And the way I turn it off and on is, probably shouldn't tell you this. I plug it in. I've got a power strip right up here. I just plug it in, and that thing will, it's got a relief valve on it right here at the top. I'll use it, and most of the time it doesn't take much to drain it, but if it goes over like 100 and I think it's 126 psi, pressure relief valve this, and then it just knocks it down to like 90, and then it'll build back up. So you know, if I'm still using it, I'll just let it pop off a couple times, and if it keeps doing it, then I'll unplug it because I don't want to put any wear and tear and drainage on the electricity and whatnot. But you know, this thing's come along really well. I'm just really happy with it. But as far as my other sander's concerned, what did I do with it? It's, like I said, I don't have a ton of fancy tools. You know, here's my grinder. It's just a cheap Harbor Freight. I think the stand that I made for it is, I believe, a tile saw cable. You know, that you set a tile saw on that has a little water pan underneath. Well, I just took a piece of plywood, and it's 2 feet by 4 feet, laid it on top of there, centered it. I hit it with a mallet, and it's got these pins. I guess they locate on the tile saws, so it left an indentation on it. And I just drilled it and I set it on that, and it's not even bolted on there solid. It'll come right off. But I've got my my Harbor Freight skill saw, you know, cut wood up. Here's my floor. This is the bottom side on the port. You know, it's nothing fancy. Like I said, that's all birch. I don't see why. I just have one of those little mouse sanders. Is what I was trying to point out earlier. I don't know what I did with it. I thought it was, hang on a second. It's around here somewhere. Anyway, but that's all I have for a sander, is that little mouse, that grinder. I do use this, I think it's a masonry blocker, you know, for sanding walls, for drywall, not masonry, I'm sorry. But I mean, I put big heavy coarse sandpaper on there. I have a roll of it up here. This has got adhesive on it. It's just a roll of I think it's 60 grit. No, it's 80. Okay, so anyway, I just use this sandpaper to block everything out on that hand sander. And believe me, 80 grit, it'll cut it down fairly quick. It doesn't take a whole lot. And then, like I said, I have that little mouse sander. Here's the size of my little silly electric sander. That's it, right there. And with that little tool, I've done all this. So, like I said, I really encourage anybody, if you have a project and you have the desire to do it, just go after it, man. Don't don't make excuses. I mean, like me, I can't really afford all this stuff. I have to do it myself. Now that really bugs me. I can't find my silly little sander. It's driving me nuts. And I need it too. Oh well, it's around here somewhere. I'll find it. But anyway, so like I said, you know, boat's coming along pretty good. You know, I've got a shop vac in there, right there. I've had that for, gosh, I think 13 years, 14 years. It's got a crazy big motor in it. It's got a 5.5, I think it's 5.5 horsepower. Yeah, 5.5 horsepower. They don't even make these anymore. I think the new ones are like 3 or 3.5. I bought that at Lowe's for like 50 bucks. And man, I've used the crud out of it. Let me tell you. I use for a long extension on my vacuum, I use swimming pool vacuum hose. It works great, man. They're 50 feet long, or 25 feet. I think you can get them too, but they work perfect. I use it like a 2 1/4 or 2 1/8 inch hose. I put my nozzle on there. I can suck up all the stuff out of there. Keeps my upholstery clean. You know, this is, like I said, this has been quite a little adventure. But you know, the whole deal is I had to do this, and well, you know the rest. So anyway, I'm just rambling at this point. But just remember, it's never easy. Sometimes it's more fun than others. But if I can help anybody out, you know, if you have any questions, give me a feedback, subscribe, like, whatever. I'd appreciate it. God bless everybody and have a nice evening.